Okay, so the next question is, what are some of the intriguing things you learned from the readings this week? And we're gonna kind of talk about the video a little bit. One of the things that he talked about was like expectations. So like he said, he had a volunteer come up, like he like turned blue, like passed out, whatever, and then like the audience knowing that like he was a physician, like they expected him to kind of know what to do, and we kind of like took this as like the expectations for like us and like what like our professors like want from us and like whatever, but
I just think we have like really high expectations, which is really good for us because that will make us really more prepared and when we get out in the clinician world and everything like that. But I think sometimes they're like maybe not like high, but like really hard to like do because I think we're so scared to fail. I think we're scared to make mistakes, and we should make mistakes now because we're in school and we're in like, I mean, like, don't go out making mistakes all the time, but like, you know, we should like have to fail because if you never get like risky enough to fail, then you're never gonna get out of that comfort zone. Like, you have to fail so that you know what it's like, and you have to like bounce back, and you know what I mean. Like,
like I don't like the expectations, like you said, like aren't bad, but I think like we put them in ourselves so much, I guess you can kind of say. Like we're so afraid to, like, I guess disappoint like our professors in a way. Like I know, like for me, like doing an evaluation like on someone that comes in, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I think it's this, but what if like she thinks it's this? Like I'm just so afraid to even say like what I think it is and be completely wrong, rather than like trying to like
but we're afraid to do that. But this is the time we need to embrace it because we can be wrong now because we have our ATs and our preceptors to back us up and either say, hey, yeah, you're right, I think it's this too, or, well, it could be this because of this, this, and that, and then you learn from that.
Yeah, we need to learn from our mistakes, and I think we're just, like, so nervous to, like, disappointing our preceptors because we just want to, like, make them, like, proud of us and, like, know that we're, like, trying the best we can as clinicians. So I think we just need to, like, not go looking for mistakes, but, you know, not be afraid, like, risk it so that you can be a better clinician. And
I think that's something that, like, I've done before. Like I said, like, doing an evaluation, I was like, hey, like, I think it's this. And then Jordan was like, well, like, I see why you're saying this, but, like, I actually think it's this. And, like going through the whole process, and she's like, you did a really good job of, like, this, and this, but here's where you kind of went, like, off the path, like, this was what was wrong. And, like, I think I learned more from that than doing, like, any evaluation, like, getting, like, the right answer. Like, because you're like, oh, I did this, like, okay, like, I did it right, like, now what? But, like, when you do it wrong, she's, like, gives you, like, corrections, like, hey, next time, like, focus more on this first. Like, do this. Like, I honestly think, like, I learned more from, like, doing that wrong than what I ever did.
And so that's why we need to take those risks and go through our emotions how we think they are, and then since we are in the setting where we can rely on someone, we can do what we think and then fall back on our preceptor to be like, was this correct? If yes, okay, you learned and now you know. But if it's wrong, they can say, this is wrong because of this, this, and that, and now you know to look for that, and now you know what else to think. And
I think those expectations also push us to like if you guys never said to like do an eval, or if they never said do this, do that, that's never gonna like make us like, we have to feel uncomfortable. We have to feel to the point where we're like, I'm not really sure how to do this, or you have to feel that so that you figure it out. You just figure it out. It's a learning process.
Part of it is you don't want to fail and look bad in front of the preceptor, but another part of that though is you don't want to look like you know absolutely nothing to the athletes too. Because
then your athlete comes back and like, I don't want to talk to them anymore because
he doesn't know what
they're doing.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing. I don't want him to make it worse by putting me through this special test or whatever.
And then they tell their friends, and then their friends are like, they're not good, don't go to them. And that just degrades you as a clinician. Like, it just scares you, and I don't know, makes you not feel confident. So that just ruins, like, from there
it's
on.
Just like it just rolls on from there. It's just one bad thing after another. I think that like plays a huge role, like you said, like I think that like maybe that's what happened with the one girl that like doesn't like come to me
Mhm.
for anything. Like I like what like maybe I said one wrong word, like she's like, no, that's not it. And maybe she went to Jordan and Jordan said something different, and then she's
Yeah.
like, well, she doesn't know what she's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a huge thing that comes back into patient care, like
Yeah.
for that.
And then going along with the expectations too was something along the lines that was in the video. The guy mentioned something about jumping to answers quickly so you can just move on and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, with our expectations, we can get narrow-sighted. We see one sign and we can get in the mindset,
Yeah.
well, this is what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so we negate to look at other things. One experience I know of, I can remember, was last semester in clinical. We were going through scenario special tests,
Yeah.
and someone made up that they had torn their Achilles. So I went
That was my
straight.
group.
Yeah, I went straight to the Thompson test, and it was positive. I'm like, okay, Achilles rupture, blah
Yeah.
blah. That's it. And Jeff goes, well, did you do this too? Maybe that's wrong too. You never know.
Yeah.
And going along with that too, about just jumping to the quick answer, you never know what else could be wrong too, because your patient can come in today and say, this hurts because of this, and it hurts when I do that. And because you're going through all this and you give them a quick answer and send them on their way, you never know, because tomorrow they can come in and goes, oh yeah, it also hurts here,
Yeah.
which can completely change your diagnosis sometimes.
I think like kind of what you said about like maybe you have an athlete that just like in a slump and they don't want to do like rehab,
Mm-hmm.
like, and you're just like, oh, they're lazy, like they don't want to do it, I'm not gonna try anymore,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But like something's going on like personally or like with their like family or something, like if you don't have like that like connection with them, like like the like conversation and stuff like that, like I know like that's happened before, like, oh, they're lazy, like why should we waste our time?
And going on the getting to know them and having a conversation, if you build a professional relationship with them outside of your clinical setting, it can help them open up to you in the clinical setting.
Yeah.
Because if you only talk to them when you see them as an injured athlete or a patient you're rehabbing or something, they might just see you as just that clinician. You're not there, you don't care. Why would I open up to you?
Mm-hmm.
And then, but if you're there in your care and they know that you believe in them, they can open up to you and they can tell you more. And that goes along the lines of getting more information out, so you are
And that
giving
just makes you
them
want to help them
the
advance
right-
more.
the right program, giving them the right diagnosis,
Yeah.
and just continuing on for there. It goes along. I think patient-centered care strongly goes along with communication.
Yeah.
You have to have great communication from doctor to patient, athletic trainer to athlete, across the board, in order to have good patient-centered care.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that he mentioned was like money with your profession, that people just did it for the money.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think AT and like teaching and stuff isn't just about the money, because I mean we don't get paid like incredibly amounts of money.
Mhm.
So I think that some like doctors or surgeons or people that make a lot of money just do it to get the paycheck, bring it back to their family. You know what I mean? Like it should be something you enjoy, and that brings it back to
You always hear
passion.
little kids, oh, I want to be a doctor because I want to make millions of dollars,
Yeah.
thousands of dollars,
I
to
think
where it shouldn't be about the money. It should be, I want to do this because I want to help people. I want to
those
make people better.
relationships you make. And
Yeah.
I think like for me, like I like this is something like I felt like is really good to like recognize now, because like we're focusing on it now, and like this is such an important thing to take with us. Like like some people are going to PT school, like they're gonna be like with kids or like older adults, like you have to, I think, just like going back to the money, like PTs obviously get paid like a little more, like I think this is such a good thing, like to remember why we're doing the things that we want to do. We like we're going to these professions to help people and like literally care for people. So I think this is I'm really glad like we did this, because this is such a good thing to like carry on with us like throughout like our careers.
And to go on what you're saying about learning it now, it goes with the saying kind of old dogs don't learn new tricks.
Yeah,
If we can
we don't get in
get
that
this
way.
now and put it into our program and ingrain it in our practice
Yeah.
now, it will be 20 times more easier, a million times more easier to do that as a professional clinician, and rather than waiting till we're 10 years in the
Yeah.
profession and then try to change our practice when we've been doing it for so long. It makes it harder to where we can start now when we're still learning.
Yeah, it's kind of what he said, like, in the video, when he said that girl came into, like, the emergency room for the 3rd time, and he's like, why don't you leave this guy? And she, like, backed him into a corner.
Mhm.
And then, like, it just, like, made him realize, like, wow, like, he felt like an idiot, you know? And then he went off, like, he said he stopped and, like, went on for, like, 6 months, like, exploring, like, these things. And he's like, and then I reconfigured how, like, I did my stuff. Like, that's a lot to, like, go through. So I think that's a good point, what you said, like, if we put this, like, into, like, our programs, like, how we want to, like, run our programs now, like, we won't have to take that step, like he said, like, a midlife crisis, like, like, my patients, like, what if you get to a point where, like, your patients, like, you don't have patience anymore, like, you're gonna have to do a lot of work to try to get that, like, back to where it was when you started.
Yeah, and going along the lines with patient-centered care and athletic training, I think that could possibly help with, like, burnout, because you see people get burnt out because they lose the passion, they lose connection with the people they're working with, to where if you're invested in your patients and your athletes, it can help keep that fiery passion alive in you, to want you to keep working instead of, well, I'm at a 5-year slump, it's the same thing every day, why am I doing this? And they end up dropping out, quitting, doing whatever else they find. To where if with patient-centered care you're invested and you care about the patients, it helps keep you in line and keep you on track, and helps prevent burnout.
Help keeps you, like, motivated. Like, I have this patient coming in today, like, when they started, like, they just came out of surgery, like, look at them now, like, they're back playing on, like, A string of this team, like, like, that's just, like, wow, like, seeing that, like, you help them do that, like, that should make you more and more excited to do that with so many more, like, other athletes.
And going along with that, like, you looking at, instead of seeing, oh, I have patient 1, 2, and 3 today, oh, hey, Gene's coming in, oh, hey, I get to see Bob today. I mean,
like, you get excited.
Names.
Jeannie.
I don't know.
I said you get Jeannie.
Jeannie makes my eggs every morning. It's fun to see her.
Of course, you'd be thinking about food right now. Right?
But I mean, building those relationships, I mean, it helps keep the passion alive and prevent the burnout.
I think another thing that he shared in the video was personal experiences. So he said something about, like, the emotional side of athletic, like, not athletic training, but, like, with your work, like, sharing those experiences with them is so more rewarding than any other thing. So, like, if one athlete, like, they tear their ACL and you're like, hey, I tore my ACL, like, I know how this feels, like, that just, like, creates a bond. And, like, I don't know if this is off track, but, like, when I went to France this June term, I feel like a special connection with those people, because, like, when I see them, it brings back all those memories and all those feelings that I had of nervousness and exciting. And I think sharing experiences with one another can, like, create a bond that will make them trust you, motivate, everything.
That's like what he said in the video when he, like, went around, like, those 6 months, like, going to those shelters and stuff, like, he opened himself up being like, I was embarrassed because I felt this, and then they, like, in turn, like, opened themselves up to be like, this is what, like, we feel. Like, I think that's such a, like, when you, like, see athletes every day, they're, like, I have athletes kind of like, hey, like, how's your dog? You know, like, that makes me happy. Like, you know?
Going off of that, it just clicked that, like, to me, patient-centered care is a give and take. You can't just expect them to open up to you and you just sit there and take it. You have to open up yourself and allow them in, which can allow them to let you into their lives as well.
I think some athletes too get stuck on one person because they've made that so much, like, that personal connection, and it's, like, hard to, like, move them to another AT because it's like, you know, they take me this way, I'm superstitious, like, I have it this way, and, like, I mean, that's not our fault, but it's just how,
I mean,
cookie crumbles.
I've run into that actually this year because I worked football as a junior instead of a senior. I've had a lot of the athletes come up to me, hey, are you going to work football again? Like, no, I can't do it again. Some other seniors next year will do it. Like, oh, man, I'm going to miss you. We liked working with you and stuff like that. I mean, it just helps with those connections.
That was like I was with basketball this year, we got there, and there was a girl that I was like, man, like, with the ATs we had last year, like, I didn't think they were gonna be, like, as good as the ones we had last year, you know, like, I think, like, that's kind of rewarding for ourselves, being like, oh, like, they like me, like, as cheesy as that sounds, like, that goes such a long way with me, and I'm like, oh, like, I'm actually doing a good job, like, and one of my girls, like, I tape her foot like every day, you know, and she gives me feedback like, hey, like this today, like this piece of tape is weird, you know, like those little things, the feedback. Like she was like, well, I know you like feedback, and I know you like to know how you did, and she's like, and like they say like, well, last year they did this, like I didn't think it was gonna get any better, but you guys are like so good this year, you know, like that's so rewarding. I think like especially from your athletes, like you know, like sometimes they're like, you don't think they care like at all. So I think that's
it's patient-centered care, but it also helps with you as well.
Yeah,
it's just as rewarding for you as it is for them.
And I got assigned to Whitco last year, and I really didn't want to be at a high school because I never wanted to be able to drive. I mean, but I thought they were like immature, and I just like always thought I'd want to be with college athletes, so I like already ruled it out. And so when I got there, like it like changed my whole perspective.
So you're still friends with like those kids now?
Oh yeah, and they like come up to me and they'll be like, hey, like they'll text me and they'll be like, hey, can you come to my game or something like. Just feeling like they're like you're one of our favorites that we've ever had, and that is just like so rewarding for me. It makes me want to work harder and like, especially when they say like, "Hey, this is the best ankle tape I've ever had." Or something. You're like, "Oh man, thanks." You get all like cheesy and stuff. That's really rewarding as an AT student. So
I think I agree with what you said. Like it's not just patient-centered care. I think it comes back at us to like that we're cared for as well. I think as important as it is to like put it out there, it's just important for us to like get it back and like keep us motivated just as much as it is to keep our athletes and patients motivated.
And the same thing happened with wrestling this year, because I'm like a whole bunch of sweaty guys with like skin infections, and like I don't know that many wrestlers, so when I had another like not negative, but I was kind of iffy about it, and I like those guys are so nice and they give me crap every day, and I think that's how you know that someone like likes to spend like some little time with you, you know what I mean, when they give you crap, and it's when the people like don't talk to you, or you know what I mean?
I say starting basketball season, like in the middle of like last semester, like I have classes with like 3 or 4 of like my athletes now. Like we have such a great relationship. Like we just hang out, like have a blast together. You know, like I think that's so cool. That like it goes so much further than like they care about you. They care about your family. Like when you're having a bad day, like they ask you how you're doing. Like that's like it's not just us. Like they
it's
care
just as rewarding for us as it is to them, and it just can go leaps and bounds on how you handle yourself as a clinician, how back to the confidence level, and how you connect, and how you go about your daily life, even outside of athletic training. I mean, because you care about your athletes, it usually, I'd say 9 times out of 10, it usually means you're genuinely a good person. And being good and polite to your athletes can help rub off other relationships as well, to where it helps you grow as a person.
Or maybe like the students, they've never like heard of you before, and they're like, hey, I got assigned to this person, like how are they, and like knowing that like we're confident enough to say like, you know, they're really good at what they do is like good to hear for those athletes, and they'll be excited and not as worried when they get like assigned to somebody they've never met. Ta-da! It's a good video, wasn't it?